Hello, everybody. This is Everything Phoenix. We are live, and we are discussing today. Um, is there a problem with the Phoenix housing market? Are there foreclosures happening that we need to be worried about? Should we be concerned at all about the Phoenix housing market currently? Now, there's been a lot of talk about this recently. A lot of what I like to call clickbait, and I try not to do that, but I do like to get people to click on it because I have so much more to share with you besides just what's happening with the Phoenix housing market, including a ton of development, guys. Now, development is a big, big word that encompasses a lot of things. But guys, there's a lot of things going on in Phoenix right now. Some really cool things that we're going to cover on this show, and we're going to jam pack this in. It's going to be action packed in our typical 30-minute format or so. We're going to cover a lot of cool stuff. Some stuff that I think is going to be very informative that you're going to be like, whoa, I wasn't even aware of that. Or it's going to reiterate the fact of what's going on in the housing market and our world today and our great city of Phoenix. And first and foremost, guys, I have the shirt Everything Phoenix on right now. This is our YouTube channel. We have a lot of these shirts, and maybe we'll start giving these out or something like that to some people and playing some games or some trivia or something, right? I don't know. If you have some good ideas as to what we could ask to, I don't know, give away some free swag for our Everything Phoenix channel, where we have the iconic camelback mountain right there on the shirt. Let us know. I'd be happy to play some games and give some t-shirts, some swag away. We're going to get some hats as well, and things of that nature. So guys, thank you for joining us. We're going to dive right in. I'm going to share my screen. But first, if you don't mind, just hit that subscribe button. Please, please. I would be forever indebted to you. And let us know where you're watching from. What city, what state are you watching from? We'd love to hear that. And can I get a feel for maybe how we can tailor it a little bit towards our audience even more? And by all means, comment, ask a question. I love to answer questions live so that if you're thinking it, someone else probably is too. Don't be shit. Don't be shy. Okay. And we'll get this thing rocking and rolling. So here we go. Without further ado, let me jump right in. All right. So, Cromford Report. You know, we love the Cromford Report, and they always talk about the most, up to date niche data when it comes to the Phoenix housing market. So we have the Case Shiller stuff they put on here, which is kind of interesting, but it's always usually about a month or two behind the Case Shiller index is. So we're going to just kind of skip over that. Gives us some ups and downs of the different markets across America right now currently, which is interesting, right? To an extent, but we're going to stick with more niche data today, as we always do. Okay, so we're going to jump right into March 27th. Today is the 30th, the last update before the Case Shiller index data was March 27th. So here we go. Monthly average sales price per square foot, guys. You can see it's still recovering nicely. All right, now part of the initial message here was, do we have a foreclosure issue? All right. Do we have a foreclosure issue? And I'm going to do a spoiler alert right now, so please don't leave because I got some really cool stuff that is happening in our marketplace. No, we don't. Foreclosures have gone up a little bit, but guys, in Arizona, we are a notice of default state. Okay, so we don't actually technically have foreclosures. We have trustee sales. And because we're a trustee sale state with a deed of trust, that's the instrument that binds everything together for the ownership of the property. And in Arizona, if you are behind on your mortgage and the bank wants to try to call your note due, not calling your note due, excuse me, take back over the property because you're not paying them, they have to give you notice. When they give you notice, you have 90 days, 3 months to make it right, to pay back the fees, make everything whole, work out a deal, whatever the case may be. And if you don't, then they will file for a trustee sale, and the bank will either be sold at a private party to a private party at a trustee sale, or it will revert back to the bank if there's a mortgage on it. So that being said, that's how it works in the state of Arizona from a general overview of the legal process. Now, do we have a foreclosure problem? No, we do not. We are very low on foreclosures, and the notice of default filings have gone up a little bit, but they're nowhere even remotely close to being significant at this time. But I'm going to stick on this really quick, okay? Because this is interesting. One of the reasons why there's not is because you have this going on. If this is going on and average sales of price per square foot, i.e., the value of properties, are going up in the right direction, then there's no need for someone to foreclose. Why? Because even if an individual homeowner falls on tough times and they can't make their payment anymore, they have equity. Unless they purchase in the past 6 months, they have equity. So if you bought the house 2 years ago and you're up 30% still ish, depends where you bought, obviously, but you're up and you have equity, then you would simply just sell your house and pay the bank back the fees out of your net proceeds when you close on the property. So then it's just a normal, regular sell, even though you were in default. So there's the conundrum or the technicality that people like to put clickbait out there saying that the sky is falling and the housing market is crashing because default notices have increased just so slightly. So there's the deal there. Okay, this is a very good thing right here, and primarily this is due to low supply. So I'm not going to go into this a ton, but I do want to hit on it because this is very important. You have the Phoenix market right now, which is extremely strong, guys. 175 is very, very good. Now, as you guys know, I'll put the banner up here because, as you guys know, when it comes to the Cromford Market Index, this is how it works, right? 92 to 110 is a balanced market. And guys, this is specific niche data to Phoenix. This is not what the general media is talking about for the United States or for Phoenix or Arizona or whatever. This is niche data to just Phoenix, okay? And right now you can see that the supply index is 40.2. That means the supply is off by, being in fact the hundreds right in the middle there as a perfectly balanced market. Supply is off by 60%. It's that low right now. Okay. Then you have demand that is low as well, but not as low as supply. It's about 70, right? So you're off by about 30%. So with demand being off by 30% and supply being off by 60%, you have this leverage that sellers have in the marketplace still creating the market overall index on here to be 175 for Phoenix. Now, we can break it down. Obviously, that's just the city of Phoenix. That's not the entire valley in this situation. But, let's go to Scottsdale here, for example. Okay. 139, still fairly healthy. Let's go to Glendale in the West Valley, 177, even stronger. Let's go to Chandler. Chandler, 222, guys. Hello. You're over 200 points, on the scale. That is very, very healthy. But look at the supply. It's so low. Let's go down to Gilbert, 168. Right? Let's go Queen Creek, the outskirts of the valley in East Valley. Okay, now look at this. Queen Creek is on the outskirts of the valley. They're at 84.7. Look at supply. It's higher. There's not as many buyers, right? There's more homes going on the market than there are buyers. I think a lot of that could have to do with the fact that some people, the investor market for people who are holding their house to rent them out is not as strong as it has been in the past. Why? Interest rates. Okay, it's harder to cash flow that way. Tempe, 130, very healthy. Let's go to the outskirts of the valley on the west side. Let's go to Buckeye, 67. So Queen Creek, Santan Valley, Buckeye have been the ones that have primarily been still the buyer's market. So if you are an investor, guys, zig when everyone else is zagging. Zig when everyone else is zagging, right? So that being said, if you're an investor, go out there and you want to rent a house, right? You want to have a rental income. Obviously, you have to run the numbers, make sure they work. But assuming they do, because you have enough money to put down, or you can get a loan that has a rate low enough that it will cash flow, you may want to strongly consider these cities. Now, Goodyear's on the west side too, but it's stronger. So is Avondale, and it's stronger than Buckeye. Buckeye's on the outskirts. So you can see there's just a couple markets that are kind of lagging when it comes to being a balanced market or still a buyer's market. Everything else, guys, is primarily a seller's market. You can see right here, active inventory. Look at this. Okay, this purple line right here is 2023, where we currently stand. Look at the active inventory just nosediving, right? Like it has been for the whole year since January 1. Right now, if you look at the seasonal trend, you can also see that this bright green line here is 2019. Okay, it went up a little bit, but then you can see recently, most of it all has pretty much nosedived. Now you see this little area in March right here. Now here's April. Okay, April, it usually starts to curtail and go up a little bit. So we'll see what happens. Obviously, the data hasn't come in yet for April because we're not quite there yet. We're still at the end of March here, but it'll be interesting to see if it follows the normal trend and active listings start to actually increase. That will be a welcome sign to an extent here because sellers overall still have some decent leverage. Okay. Running at altitude. Thanks for joining. I appreciate it. How is demand measured? Good question. Demand is measured by the amount of properties or contracts that are being written. Therefore, the amount of properties that are going under contract, pending listings. And if the pending listings aren't there, or what we call UCB, under contract accepting backups. Pretty much one the same. UCB, technically, guys, for our MLS, our multiple listing service description, just basically means that we're still within the inspection period. In Arizona, it is a 10-day inspection period that the buyer has to really withdraw for any reason they see fit in the first 10 days. They can say, you know what? I drove by late at night. I heard dogs barking, and I just don't like dogs barking. So I'm going to cancel the contract. And they can do that unilaterally within the first 10 days. So that being said, UCB is technically that standard. And then once it goes past the inspection period and it gets ratified by buyers and sellers, agreed upon, but we're still in escrow, then it goes to pending. Either way, but not every agent runs like that. That's the only thing running at altitude. So just be aware of that. So pending contracts, UCB contracts, if we're low on those, we're low on demand. And there you have it. So, and that's a good question, because demand could be in some cases, some people could say, well, there's a lot of people out there looking, and maybe so. Maybe a listing is on the market and it's getting 10 showings in the first 3 or 4 days. But if it doesn't get a contract that gets executed that the seller agrees upon, then it's not there, because technically it's not a ready, willing, able buyer that's willing to buy at the quote unquote market value where the seller is, right? Because at some point they'll find a seller that's willing to sell at market value if a couple are overpriced. So hopefully that makes sense. Thank you for the question. Great question, by the way. So there you go, guys. Active listings. We'll see what happens. Okay. But I'm going to jump back over here and just read some commentary really fast. And it's interesting. The Cromford Report talks about YouTube, which I just love, right? Because I'm a YouTube kind of guy. But here we go. There has always been a lot of ill-informed, simplistic, and childish speculation about the housing market. I mean, Cromford Report is data-driven. They are data over drama, and it's not clickbait. It is just facts. And so now they're getting a little upset, right? But these days, dozens of these people have YouTube channels. And the crazier their pronouncements, the more views they're likely to get. Okay, yeah, and that's what it's all about, right? Views, and especially subscriptions and likes, means cash for them from Google, because Google owns YouTube. That's why they do it, folks. They are not trying to be balanced and an astute observer of the market. They are trying to shock you. Selling disaster in all forms is a proven way to get attention, just like the national media, right? No difference. Okay, so I don't want to be one of those people. If I have to grow this YouTube channel slower because I'm not going to shock somebody with fake headlines that really aren't true, then so be it. But when you listen to my YouTube channel, guys, I'm going to give you the facts, and I subscribe to the Cromford Report, pay the money, because they are doing just that. So there you have it. Interesting, right? Okay. Now let's jump into some stuff here regarding the local housing market. Here we go. Phoenix home price growth hits brick wall in January. Interesting. Report shows. What report is that? This is from the Phoenix Business Journal. Here we go. Metro Phoenix home prices were flat in January over the previous month, according to Case-Shiller U.S. National Home Price Index. This is the first time the Metro recorded a no home price growth since its descent from the #1 spot, this time last year. Nationwide home price growth has been cooling as well, with the indices showing a 3.8 annual gain in January, down from 5.6 the previous month. And then, of course, this guy's talking about this is one of the most unusual markets. It is. Guys, this is interesting. First of all, Case-Shiller is always about a month or two behind on their data. But were home prices flat in January? Yeah, over the previous month for the most part. But this is early January. Remember, in December, it was bad. It was slow. It was slow, right? January, it was pretty slow too. But it takes a while every single year for the cyclical nature of our market to cycle to kick in and for it to start increasing, which it ultimately did. Primarily fueled not by a lot more demand, but by less supply than normal. Okay, so this goes on to say that Phoenix is not a bad market, but it is declining like most of the markets across the country from activity. Transactional count for sure. Okay. New home closings year to date are down 9.5 over 2022. This is all very true stuff, but values are starting to curtail, right? They came down about 15% from the high, and now they're starting to curtail because, again, low supply. So now let's go over here. But this is important. I'm going to show this to you guys right here. New home permit data continues to lag behind the pre-interest rate frenzy of early 2022 and shows signs of rebound, with February's 1,162 permits being the best month since August of 2022. The year-over-year permit numbers will normalize after June. Okay, this is good, guys. This is good. Why? because let me get this banner off. Sorry, guys. Because we are behind on new permits. For December, it was like 900. For January, it was like 1100. February is 1162, a little bit more. So this is good. But where we were before June of August of 2022, we were consistently hitting 3,000 plus new home permits, as we discussed last week, every month for a few years. So we need to get back to that based upon our population growth. If we don't, we will continue to have a lack of supply and a shortage of homes in Phoenix. And people have to talk about that if they want to talk about prices. They can't just get on here and talk about price, the home market's going to fall, and because it's just obvious because rates are high. No, it could, but in this situation, it's not looking good for that to happen, which is actually positive news because that means the market won't crash, right, anytime soon in Phoenix. Now look over here. It's the Federal Reserve's market now. Duh. We all know that, right? They keep doing their thing, playing games with the federal funds rate. Where are mortgage rates today? I'm glad you asked. Here we go. They're down, okay, 2% from yesterday. All right, 6.59%. And then the article was kind of interesting here, right? Mortgage rates barely budge yet again. Now, this article talks about just that. But what's up with that? I love this question. What's up with that? The bond market, which dictates rates, now stay with me here, guys, for 30 seconds, requires a steady stream of motivation if it's going to inspire noticeable changes in rates. Steady stream of motivation. Sometimes several sources of motivation cancel each other out. Like, for example, the Fed raising the federal funds rate, but Silicone Valley Bank and the Signature Bank and these banks failing, right? They were going in opposite directions. They canceled each other out to an extent. Other times, the stream supply gets a bit dry, as in the case this week. Just a bit dry, right? It won't stay dry, though. By the end of the week, the market will have a chance to digest several new important economic reports. These reports are always worth some political or potential, market movement. All right. So now, jump over here. Unaffected. I'm just, man, it's smooth transitions here, right, guys? Look at this. Unaffected by interest rates. See how I did that? Cash buyers rush to close on Paradise Valley luxury residences, guys. PV is the creme de la creme when it comes to, let's go back over here, real estate. So PV, what's the market index? 112. Okay. A little more balanced, but still a seller's market technically. But technically, guys, this is interesting, right? Cash buyers rush to close on Paradise Valley luxury residences. Okay, let's read this. That's a beautiful home, by the way, right here. Okay. This one sold for $8.8 million with a 3-acre lot, not a house, nearby, sold for $6 million. Guess what? Both cash deals. These big cash transactions indicate the luxury market is heating back up again, Valley real estate sector observers say. Okay, now here's the properties. Here's what some things. This one sold for, 1,056 a square foot, under $9 million, blah, blah, blah. But I'm going to get to something here a little more important. Okay, let's read this. The rush of California buyers to Arizona won't end anytime soon. A mansion tax approved by Los Angeles voters, California, last November to raise money for affordable housing is set to go in effect April 1st. Okay, what in the world is that? Guys, California already has high taxes. So now you're telling me there's another tax? Yep. I'm glad you asked. Here we go. For the New York Times, for sale, mansions in Los Angeles at bargain prices. Check this out. Millionaire home sellers are slashing prices and sweetening deals this week in Los Angeles, eager to move their properties off the market before a new real estate tax aimed squarely at the rich goes into effect on April 1st. Here's the purple, known colloquially as the mansion tax. Measure ULA will impose a 4% tax on property sales above $5 million and a 5.5% tax on properties above $10 million mark. The tax will be paid by the seller. The city's homelessness crisis has ballooned in recent years. Tent cities have popped up in parks, on sidewalks, and under freeways. An estimated 42,000 people were homeless in the city of Los Angeles during a point-in-time canvass in February 2022, according to the LA Homeless Services Authority. In 2016, the number was closer to 28,000. Now it's at 42,000, and it is increasing. A coalition of housing advocates and labor unions campaigned to put Measure ULA, the mansion tax, on the city's November 8th ballot, and the measure passed with 57% of the vote. Its proponents initially estimated that the tax would raise up to $1.1 billion for affordable housing initiatives, But this week, the city lowered the estimate to 672. So wait, what you're telling me is these politicians were being dishonest? I just have a hard time believing that, right? Politician being dishonest? Oh my goodness. All right. Guys, they were saying that it'd give 1.1 billion. Now they're saying after it passed, of course, now they're saying it's only be 672 million. Still a lot of money. But what's it going to do to people who are very wealthy? Are they going to leave LA? I don't know. They're saying they're trying to get them off the market, sell them now, slashing their prices. But does that mean they're moving out of the city? Maybe. I don't know. Maybe not. I haven't seen that yet. But it's just one more tax, guys, which brings you back to now these cash buyers in Phoenix, Paradise Valley, coming around the corner more and more and more. Buyers pay a premium for new construction with mountain views, but these homes at 9 million, these homes at 8.8 million, these homes at 6 million in PV, because there are some for that as well, are cheap, right, compared to LA, California prices in many cities. So here's some information on some of these awesome properties within the area. But speaking of the homeless situation, okay, that's what this mansion tax is for, right? Affordable housing initiatives to help eradicate homelessness. Speaking of that, another smooth transition, you guys. Phoenix ordered to clean up homeless encampments, trial set in lawsuit filed by business owners. So check this out. This is down in downtown Phoenix. This is actually west of downtown Phoenix right now. This is a homeless encampment in which they have obviously had a lot of issues recently. So a trial date has been set for a lawsuit brought against the city of Phoenix by a group of business owners who have businesses in these areas the homeless camps are set up because they cannot operate their business now due to the issues with the homeless problems. Over the municipality's alleged lack of enforcement in one of the most visible and largest homeless encampments in Arizona. They filed a lawsuit, and the judge ordered on Monday that a bench trial for the lawsuit be scheduled for July 10th through 12th, and also ruled in favor of the businesses and property owners on a related preliminary injunction application for a request for immediate relief from the city. Okay, and guys, I don't know where you stand on this, but obviously, I run a business here. Any real estate agent runs a business to an extent, right? And it'd be hard. It'd be hard if I couldn't run a business due to some extenuating circumstances that you hope, based upon your taxes you're paying to the city, they would help you so that you can run your business. I mean, that's what America's all about, right? Definitely not going to go on a tangent about that one way or the other because there's all kinds of arguments on each side of the table. But in Phoenix, the point of this is suffices to say that if you run a business, own a business, it is a business-friendly environment in Phoenix, the Phoenix area, right? And so if you're thinking about maybe going to California to start your business or Phoenix to start your business, give us a call. We'd love to help you out and maybe find a house to live in while you're at it, right? Come to Phoenix to start your business here. And so right now, business owners are struggling. They're waiting for trial. There's an old station sub sandwich shop down there, which is having a hard time, losing a lot of business. These are the owners right here. And of course, they're part of the business owners that filed a lawsuit to have the city help them with some relief, okay? So that they can actually run their business and have a cleanup program. So there you go, all right? There's that. Moving on. Baby boomers overtake millennials as prime home buying generation as first-time home buyers get sidelined. Baby boomers. Wow. Okay. Guys, baby boomers, I mean, that's older than me, and I'm old, right? And they are now the biggest source of home buyers, right? This is interesting. Millennials are no longer the top generation buying homes as rapid increase in mortgage rates and other factors have sidelined a lot of first-time buyers since last spring and summer. The NAR this week released its latest demographics, report, finding baby boomers ages 58 through 76 last year made up 39% of home buyers, an increase from 29% in 2021. Millennials, who are now 24 to 42 years old, have been the dominant home buying generation prior to 2022, but last year made up 28% of home buyers, quite a decline from the 43% observed in 2021. Since the NAR's report, millennials have been the top home buying generation since 2014. Okay, interesting, guys. And this goes on to talk about why, and obviously it's pretty obvious. It's because baby boomers obviously have been working for many more years than millennials, and so they hopefully have more money saved up, and therefore they can still buy that house if they want to, and they are not as interest rate sensitive as somebody who maybe doesn't have as much money saved up because they haven't been working as many years in their life. So pretty straightforward, but it's interesting, right? This is the first time since 2014, millennials have not been the largest generation as home buyers. Huh, interesting, right? All right, moving on. Some more interesting stuff. Sky Harbor sues Tempe over proposed Arizona Coyotes arena project. Guys, this looks sick, right? Look at this. This is the Tempe Arena right here, is where the Arizona Coyotes, they used to be called the Phoenix Coyotes, the NHL hockey team, right? Here in Phoenix locally. This is where they are going to be playing their games in the future. Maybe. It passed, and now they're being sued. So I don't know if that lawsuit can stop it, but this whole thing does not exist currently, this whole district, but it will if this thing proceeds after legal, action or whatever, right? This would be amazing. This is right by the airport, and it'd be just a really, really cool entertainment district with housing and businesses, and of course, an amazing hockey arena, guys. And did you know that hockey in Arizona is huge? Guys, junior hockey in Arizona is big. There is a lot of junior hockey's players and teams and clubs in Arizona. It's hard to get ice time. It really is across the entire city. So having one more nice hockey arena for a pro team, and they probably can use for other things too, would be, I think, overall a really good thing. But let's see here what they're saying about the lawsuit. Okay. The construction of 2,000 apartment units for the owners of Arizona Coyotes. So they're trying to keep the more apartments coming. There's this big thing, guys, recently in Phoenix where they're building a lot more apartments. They're building a lot more apartments. They just are primarily because it's cheaper housing for people to live in. Everyone wants to, not everyone, but a lot of people want to come to Phoenix, right, and live here. I don't blame them. We're everything Phoenix, but as we just mentioned, we're behind on housing supply, and some housing supply is pretty expensive. So here comes these rush of developers into town amongst all the different suburbs trying to build more condos and apartments, which congest everything. And a lot of the people who've been here the Phoenicians been here for decades and decades, they don't like it. And rightly so in some cases. I get it. So here we go. For more than a year, officials from Phoenix Sky Harbor, which owned by the city of Phoenix, has gone back and forth the city, blah, blah, blah. And it's 46 acres right there by the airport. Okay. The project in question would include a new arena for the Coyotes, retail and office buildings, hotels, and high-end apartments, which is expected to cost about $2 billion to develop. Low-flying aircraft are noisy. People are annoyed by noise, especially noise at their homes, Phoenix wrote in its legal complaint. And so, for many years, at the cost of many millions of dollars, experts in aircraft like the FAA and the professionals who run our nation's biggest airports have worked very hard to keep homes away from low-flying aircraft. But here's my thing. If there's disclaimers and somebody before they move in there know there's going to be a 747 jumbo jet every once in a while flying over their head, and they're still okay with it, right? I mean, I don't know. Like then they're okay with it. I mean, some people are okay with that. It's like there are some trains in Phoenix, guys. There are some trains in Phoenix. And if you're close to a train, right? There aren't too many, by the way. But if you are in a subdivision, we always joke, let's try to find a buyer from Chicago, right? Because they're used to the L train and they don't care as much about maybe having a little train noise, that sort of thing. So it's kind of funny, right? But if someone wants are okay with the noise, then so be it. That's how I look at it, right? Here we go. Abby, how you doing? Is this how Sky Harbor plans to get funding for more airport space? Why would they sue them? Well, we just went over that. So now we know, but that's funny because maybe there's a hidden agenda there. I'm kind of a cynic, right? So I always think there's always that hidden agenda. Maybe that's what it really is. You might be onto something, Abby. You might be onto something, okay? But of course, they're claiming all kinds of stuff. The bottom line is they probably just don't want the 2,000 apartments there because of more population, congestion, traffic, cars, etc. And there you go. All right. We got more to go. Guys, this is action-packed here. We won't even get to all of it maybe today. We'll have to save some of this for next week. But Arizona Coyotes, speaking of which, and the Phoenix Suns ink a sponsorship agreement with Noble Ground Coffee. So we're talking about the Arizona Coyotes. If you're going to go to a game at some point, they might have this coffee there, so you might want to know about it, right? So anyways, they just have this Noble Ground Coffee that they make the deal with, and there's not a whole lot there, except I thought it was a nice transition from the Arizona Coyotes Stadium or future stadium to coffee, because we love coffee here at Everything Phoenix, as you guys know if you watch our channel. So we'll have to do a little sample on maybe the Noble Coffee grounds and see if they're any good, right? Because don't take the Arizona Coyotes and Phoenix Suns word for it. Take our word for it. All right, here we go, guys. This is news, right? Can't leave this out. First Citizens Bank, that is, reaches a deal to acquire SVB assets. Okay. You probably heard about this, but we're going to touch on it really quick. First Citizens Bank inked a deal to acquire the assets of failed Silicon Valley Bank. And here's the thing I'm going to show you guys. Here you go, right here. Boom. The deal, according to the FDIC, included a purchase of $72 billion of their assets at a discount of $16.5 billion. Now, what I don't know yet, and what I haven't heard, now maybe some of you on this channel have heard, where the rest of them go. Like, is the taxpayers get involved in this deal? Because that would be a bad deal, right? I don't. Again, the government says no, it's not going to happen, but who knows? But there's a big loss there. So, anyways, and it just talks about how the closure shocked the startup world. We all know about this, blah blah blah. And then, of course, the big thing is First Citizens took over the assets, right? And then this also talks about it too as well. For Silicon Valley Bank citizens, First Citizens is an unknown and unproven new partner. And this guy, of course, is a startup business owner. As you guys know, SVP primarily funded venture capital, private equity, etc. And so it wasn't your mom and pop's bank, right? Most Susie Q's and Jimmy Joe's didn't lose any money. Why? Because their deposits are at Wells Fargo or Chase or some other bank, right? Not SVP. All right. So wrapping up here pretty soon, guys. A couple more things I want to talk about. Lifetime, the health club, which is awesome, by the way, to join Paradise Valley Mall redevelopment with a luxury health club and residences. So, guys, the old PV Mall has been being worked on for a while now, and a lot of people wonder what's going to happen with it. This is one thing. Oh, real quick, got a question. Abby, do we have a KCI rating for Noble Coffee? No, we don't yet. We don't, but we will. I don't know when it's going to happen, but we're going to have a KCI. It's 1 through 10, 1 being just awful coffee, right? And 10 being just the best coffee you ever tasted. But no, we don't have a KCI index for that Noble Coffee, guys. But if you watch our channel, we will have one soon. And if you're not sure, or if you want to know the best coffee, local coffee shops, not Starbucks and all that, the best coffee shops in all Phoenix across the entire valley, go to our channel. We had an amazing time checking out a bunch of coffee shops, and we're still doing more because we haven't hit them all yet. Okay, but going back to this, this is gonna be awesome. Look at this design here: a Lifetime Fitness plus residences at the PV Mall. I mean, Lifetime is going big, right? Living, lifting, and more, right? Look at this. We'll expand PV Mall not only with a club but also with Lifetime Living, an 11-story residential living tower, more condos. There you go. More urban development. This will be the first time Lifetime Living project. This will be the first, Lifetime Living project the Minneapolis-based company has planned for Arizona. It debuted the concept in 2021 in Coral Gables, Florida. Okay, 300 leasable units will range in the size from 850 square feet to more than 2,100 square feet, and include amenities such as work from home lounge, private dining room, private yoga fitness studio, meditation room, outdoor pool deck, jacuzzi, spa, cabanas, all that fun stuff, right? So you guys get the concept. If you know Lifetime Fitness, they're pretty sweet. So now with the living aspect, it's going to be all about, healthy lifestyle, active lifestyle, energy, working out, being the best version of yourself, all that fun stuff, right? So kudos to that. A few more things we're done here, guys. Arizona State University plans the West Campus, plans extensive expansion into effort to triple enrollment. I mean, Arizona State, guys, is already the largest university in the entire country, and now they want to triple the enrollment. Oh my goodness. Okay. For years, much of the nearly 300 acres at ASU's West Campus of Glendale sat vacant as the public university continued to invest millions of dollars in its other 3 campuses across Metro Phoenix. But now, plans call for construction of a $33.5 million academic building on the West Campus, totaling 55,000 square feet. According to documents on file with the Arizona Board of Regents, holy moly. This 4-story building will include a student gallery space, computer labs, drawing labs, faculty offices, and future growth spaces for the campus. It also has clearance to sign a ground lease with American Campus Communities, which will build student housing on 2.3 acres at the southeast corner of 49th Avenue and the Verde Mall on the West Campus. ASU retains the rights to lease all or a portion of the facility at an annual cost exceeding $1 million. Guys, the 134,000 square foot residence hall will include 500 beds. Wowzers. ASU's West Campus has 5,000 students with plans to triple that to 15,000 students. Amazing. ASU is just getting bigger and bigger, guys. Why? Because this is perfect, actually, because we talked about, especially on the engineering side, ASU is a very, very good engineering school, and there's a lot of engineering jobs out there, and there will be over the next 5 to 10 years that they want to start to develop the future workforce for that for all the businesses and companies moving to the Phoenix area, and a lot of these are high-paying jobs. So kudos to ASU for trying to get ahead of that curve. Right on. All right, let's see here. Oh, this is a good one, right? It's kind of cool. Harkins Theater to open family entertainment concept in Phoenix. So North Phoenix, guys, up by the TSMC, huge campus that's going in, manufacturing campus. Harkins Theater, which is based out of Scottsdale, is going by a new concept called Harkins Backlot, a reference to the where movie studios produce most films. Okay, what is it? What it is a full bar, large screens for viewing sports, i.e. sports bar, right? Bowling alley, an arcade for large format video, virtual reality, redemption games, and other VR experiences, a private event room, and dazzling movie-themed audio-visual displays. Whew. Now, what they said is a lot of movie theaters are trying to obviously take on additional revenue-generating activities because there's no question that they go on to say that that movie tickets over the past several years are down compared to where they were, right? So they need to find other revenue sources. Well, this is one way to do it. But the crazy part is Harkins said they have actually had this in the works now for quite some time, even before COVID came. They just haven't rolled it out. And of course, COVID delayed this from coming out. But Backlot is going to be a cool concept. And I can't wait to check it out with my kids at some point here shortly. But they said this has nothing to do with, they think that movie tickets or movies are, in terms of theaters, are going away. They in fact said they have plans to actually develop a few more theaters actually in the Phoenix area that aren't currently built because they think that's going to be just fine. But in addition to that, they're adding the backlot concept, which I think is very, very smart. Lori, I see a comment. ASU is taking over the Valley. Go Sun Devils. Yeah, go Sun Devils. Hey, I'm a big fan of ASU as long as they're not playing my beloved Nebraska Cornhuskers. Then I go Big Red, right? But outside of that, I'm an ASU fan. Go Devils. All right. Last but not least, guys, this is kind of interesting, right? Kind of a fun one, I guess. I don't know if you're a more development, right? Raytheon Nabs more advanced weapon contracts, including one with Northrop Grumman. So Raytheon is missile defense, right? And a government contractor for ammunition and all this stuff, right? Weapons. And this contract here is one they just earned. So I thought I'd throw it in here because it's for us veterans out there who we salute you. This is always maybe good, interesting news for you guys, especially, right? To know kind of where our military, or if you're just a good U.S. citizen who wants to know about what our military is doing and some things that we have going on, there you go, right? Service missiles and all kinds of fun stuff. You could go crazy on this, but where technology is going on the weapons front is crazy, right? It's crazy all these things that these things can do. So hopefully no one ever has to use them, right? Okay, guys, that's all I have for us today. Hopefully you enjoyed our time here at Everything Phoenix, and you learned a lot. This is a lot going on this week. That's just 1 week of information happening in Phoenix about what's going to happen in the future. So big things on the rise for Phoenix. I'm excited, and we're going to have more and more to talk about every single week. Thanks for joining us. And until next time, guys, please subscribe if you don't mind, and we'll be joining you next week. Be well, and I'll talk to you guys soon.